Okay, sorry, I had a day off. I was just hanging with family. Gotta improve this program now. I don't like that there are 2 game loops. Excuse me. There's the main game loop, which is where we create a monster and we tell the player what's going on. And at the beginning of the entire loop, well, before the entire loop, we initialize the game basically. We create the player with the player's input, we prompt the player, and then start the official loop. And it goes until the game's over. Eventually, we break out of this loop. Yeah, I guess so. We break out of the loop and then we check to see how the game actually ended. Only thing is, we have 2 separate loops here, and I want to see if I can collapse this into a single function or something like that. Like, I don't even know what I would call it. Just, I guess, like encounter result, because it continues until it finally breaks, right? Until it finally ends. And it breaks when the monster dies, or when the player dies, or when the player flees. And so what we could do is we could remove the leveling up part of here, maybe. Well, I don't want the function to handle the side effects. I mean, I kind of want to have, what if I had a function for this entire loop, the entire encounter loop, and it returned the result, and then I switch using that result and do the 3 things. Well, let's see. What would we do? I mean, I could return one result for the player to level up. I could return another result to end the game. And then otherwise we just continue, or we do nothing. How would I want to do this? And so instead of doing the side effects here, leveling the player up and adding the gold here, the problem is, well, no, the monster's here. So this could work, actually. I was thinking whether I want to handle that in the function, and I don't. So I want to return monster's dead, or breaking, so this would be a good time to return, because we're breaking out of this whole loop, which would be equivalent to returning from the whole function. Returning from the function, so we could return some code that means the player succeeded. And maybe I return an enum and I switch on that enum. That could work. So it could be like in game logic, there could be an enum called like encounter result, and it's monster die, or like monster player like defeat monster, or like, I guess monster dies, player dies, and then nothing. If the player dies, then so what do we return? We would return that result, and we'd switch on that result. And we would switch and say, okay, if monster died, then player level up and player add gold, the monster's amount of gold, because the monster already exists here and it's just passed to this function. And then I scrolled down more and I saw that there's an extra piece here, so I want to implement this first, and then I'll... no, I won't. Okay. So, in-game logic is the function for monster combat. We could also have a function, and what does it return? So, do I define, like, all type definitions have to be included everywhere, right? And they're implicitly inline, I think. So I could create that enum class here and return that, right? So why not do that? Or does it need to be an enum class? No, because then we'd have to do game logic. Well, yeah, sure. I think enum class is fine. Wait, how do I even... Isn't it just enum class? I haven't written one in a second. We'll just do test. That. What's wrong here? Okay, it's good. So we'll do enum class. Combat results. Or combat result. Or we'll do combat result. And what are the results? Player. Do we just say player win? I guess, oh sure, right? Player win, monster win, and then we'll just do max combat result. Just in case we need to use the total count of these. Compile, because we added some new shit. Okay, and now we'll have a function that returns a combat result, huh? Because this is a type. So we'll return combat result, and it will be, this is monster combat. So it shouldn't be this. This should be encounter result. Encounter result. Oops. Excuse me. We'll just say monster encounter. And what do we take? Game logic needs, it already has creature. So we could just take a creature. Take two creatures. Excuse me, this one already takes two creatures, so why not? Are we changing anything? Do we have to do it? Okay, I don't know why this is wonking out. Some of the stuff is being wonky now. I guess because game logic. I'll start with a const creature reference. Do we do player and monster? Sure. Const creature reference monster. Okay. This already has IO stream, so I'm not sure what was happening there. I'm not sure why any of that was happening like that. It was caused by... Oh, hold. Oh, that's fine. So... Oh, I get... Well, if I messed this up, was it jacking with the end if? And then it was like doing a double include or something? I'm not sure why I was getting errors in here about standard character output and the monster definition, because these are all included separately. So... I'm not really sure. Somehow it was due to... Oh, here, I'll just do this real quick. Oh, yeah. See, so now it doesn't like standard character output. Namespace game logic? Yeah, and if the identifier doesn't exist there, then you have to go backwards and check the IO stream. And we're already checking standard. This isn't namespace game logic standard. It's just namespace standard. Weird. Interesting. Okay. And so now we could pass the monster into here, and we could pass the player into there. Do we do anything with the player? We do. So why not just replace this? Is there a better way of selecting this without the mouse? This is the whole game loop. This is the monster loop. Okay. I could do a commit. Do inheritance quiz. Pre count of monster count of loops to function. Cool. Just so I don't lose this. So this handles the run and that, and after the encounter, but still in the main game loop, we check to see what to do. And the switch would just be for the side effects. This would still check the is dead stuff. That way we don't have to check if is dead multiple times, I think. Well, we still do because we have to return. So, yeah, we do because that tells us whether the monster won or not. Okay. So we'll take this, put it in here. But I think because this is taking them as const, we can't pass them into this function as non-const. I think that's why player and monster are doing like this. Yep. Can't have the qualifiers dropping. So, because Monster Combat actually reduces the health of those creatures, we can't use them as const references, which is fine. Sure. Okay. The only thing is the error that we're not returning yet. Player not level up? Oh, okay. So we do need player. So why not include the player reference or the player definition, huh? Now, player reference, player, and then creature reference monster. Are we good yet? Is IntelliSense just taking forever? Yes, it is. Okay. So, this handles the entire encounter with the user's turn choice. And so, we need to, instead of this, we need to return, what is it, encounter result? Encounter result, player win. And that's if the monster is dead. If the monster is alive, then this loop needs to continue. But if the player is dead, we need to instead return encounter result monster win. Okay. If player ran, then we flee, and then we say what do we return here? Because we need to return something. Let's go handle the other is dead. Maybe I can eventually replace this. Encounter result. Monster win because the player died. Monster won and game over. But if the player ran, then we just want to continue. So we could just say player fled. Player fled. And so now we'll say frame success. Return encounter result. Player fled. Boom. Cool. Alright. And game logic's already included in main. So now here, I'll just compile to see if we have any wonkiness. Good. Oh, because now we're getting user input here, so we actually need to probably maybe even remove, well, I guess not, we don't have to actually remove it, but user input H. We need to get these definitions in. What else? Oh, good, we also need random too, so we can, well, we can take that out, right, of main. Is it random nums H like that? Probably. What else? Good. Cool. And then I can probably remove wherever random nums. Random nums wasn't even here earlier. Was it transitively included? How was it obtained here? Game logic? No. User input? Huh. This is random nums. Does main have access to random nums? From where? Oh. Right now it's because it's in game logic. So I just comment that out to test. It's still here. From where? What'll it say? Nope. Monster? Oh, it is in monster. Oh. Gotcha. But now game logic needs a random number for something separate, so it makes sense to include random numbers here as well. Okay, cool, that's fine. Just making sure we're not including the same shit twice. Okay. So now we return player fled. Cool. And then we have the encounter results. And then now we can, excuse me, we can commence monster player monster encounter. So we'll do game logic monster encounter, and we'll do player and monster. And we'll say encounter result is that not what it's called? Oh, it's game logic encounter result. What do I want to call it? Encounter result, right? I mean, I kind of do. I don't want to just call result, but fuck it, maybe I do. Result, and I initialize it. Oops. Like this. So we say, okay, we have this. We'll just say get result, get monster player monster encounter result to determine. Oh yeah, sure. So, well, it doesn't tell us much. Sure, that'll work. Outcome in progress. So we have the result, and we initialize it by passing the player and the monster to the monster encounter function in the game logic namespace. And we can then switch on result, because this is an enum, we can switch on enums. So, sick. And what do we want? We need a couple cases here. So we need case. Can I do it in this using namespace? Or can I do it in here? I don't think so. Could just say using namespace. No, I don't want to do that either. Could I just put this within an extra set of braces? Oops. Like this. Using game logic encounter result. And then we're no longer using it outside of this. And then switch on the result. Case player win. Right? Do I actually have to do that? Are you sure? Using. I thought I could just do the using. Maybe I can't. So there's gotta be a better way than just. I guess not. Is there a way I can de-indent? Is there a hotkey for that? Indent. Decrease indent. Good. Oh, I think it doesn't work from there. I think that was how it was. It's not going to be in view. Edit? Surely, right? Oh yeah, isn't it advanced? Decrease, and it works there, but it doesn't work in the search bar. I'm not sure why. Oh, wait. Actually... I'll just test it here again then. Fine. Using... Well... I could do that. But can't I use this and then just use player win? So there's that. I can't use it by default, even though we're using this whole thing. I don't remember the syntax. Is there using enum? I don't think so. Nope. It's not a thing. So what if I then did this? Oh! Wait. Yeah, but can't I still do... Whoa! Oh. So I guess we're specifically using encounter result now. because we don't have a using for game logic itself, I guess it would need to be a specific object if we were doing this. This doesn't actually do anything. Or like it's basically just using game logic. That would be the same thing here, right? Isn't this the same as using namespace game logic? Right? So if I wanted to use something more specific, like using namespace game logic, like encounter result isn't a namespace. So if we just say using game logic encounter, game logic encounter result, that lets us use encounter result, but we still have to preface it with the scope. I can't just use player win because I'm not actually using the values in it. I have to say that I'm using enum encounter result, and that will let me. Okay. So switch on the results. So I can have a case player win. I can have, yeah, we'll do that first. And then, so for player win, what do we want to do? Player level up and break. Let me check to see what else we're doing in here. Right, game logic. It's in here, right? This is collapsed. Oh, here we go. Okay. So there's level up and then there's add gold as well. Yep, forgot. Player add gold. Monster get held gold. And then break after, so we don't get fall through. Case player fled. And what are we going to do? Nothing, right? We just want to do nothing. Enroll player's victory. Level up. Gold increase. Enroll players fleeing. Continue game loop. And then handle player's death. Case monster win. Oops, monster win. And what does that happen? What does that do? Do we just break and then player's dead already so we don't have to do anything? I think so. If dead, that's it. Wait. So what's the point of even bothering here? Player's dead, so death check will capture this and end game. Okay. Does this work now? Just differently? Let's find out. An orc appears. We're going to... they have like 4 health, right? Can we run? Okay. So the game loop executed because we fled. Cool. Dragon appears, run, we fail. Yep, I knew it. We're gonna fail again. Yep, and we're gonna die. Oh wow, succeed. Kill the slime. Slime again. Three. We're probably dead here. Yep. Okay. It works. Good to know. I can remove the old commented stuff. And so do we want this to happen here? Yeah, these are already the side effects, so that's fine. Or do we want to print it here? I kind of like the printing here more. Yeah, because we're leveling up and doing the gold here, right? So, well, no, because the gold logic prints here. But that makes sense. So if we're handling the level up here by calling it in the add gold, we should also handle the stuff that prints everything else, right? So the attacking stuff makes sense. We just care about the results. So when the player wins, cool, we level up. When the player dies, we also want to print that. So this is player fleeing. Oh wait, and these should also be breaks. Cool. Now we can save some lines. Oh, and if we, that was success. If we failed, then the encounter continues. We don't have a result yet. And if the player dies, that's it. So there's dying. And we only do the dying stuff here. So, okie doke. Fling, print outcome and continue the game loop. Okie dokie. The player's dead. Alright, so we have these. We can't use that yet, so we're only using the values because of the enum, so we're not bringing this into scope. So by moving this up, it wouldn't help us here. Okay. Shorten this down to 60. Pretty good. But now we have some. Do we have redundancy I can remove? This is the game loop. Let me check this here and break. Or we could make this an and not to continue the loop, and it's checked every time here. Oh, now we can just remove these, and we don't need to break because we don't have a nested loop anymore. So we don't have to break out of one loop to then evaluate. We don't have to check a thing. We don't have to check to see if there are marbles in the bag to then break out of the monster loop, the encounter loop, to then check if there are monsters still in the bag again, to then return that there are no marbles in the bag. So I can just remove this and put it here. Remove this and put it here. and then return 0. Zero. And so the loop will eventually continue until one of these is true, right? Excuse me. And then we don't need to have this extra return here because the loop will, you can't break out of the loop. There's no break. So we would never execute that code ever. We have to return. Unless, no, because the loop is a while true. So it's never going to not execute. So that's the shortest the program can be for now. I made a little bit of changes. Only changed main, so that's all we have to recompile. Sick. But in here, is there anything crazy we got to do here? Monster loop. Well, the choice isn't valid. This is the whole loop. I could have a lambda here. And then while the return value of the lambda is false. Why not? This would be kind of cool to just to do, right? I don't remember the syntax for lambdas at all, though. I'll have to Google it. We can make it an auto type. So we'll do lambda to validate user's turn choice. And eventually we'll swap it in here and we'll say while this is false, continue. And once it's true, then we get out of there and then we check which type it is. Because we have to continue getting input until it's valid. So I think there will be redundancy here. But alright, I don't remember lambda syntax. So oops, that's not where I want to go. Oh, and lambda captures. Fuck. I think I skipped this. I think I stopped in here. I did lambdas and then stopped. I don't remember. Did I do this chapter? No, I don't think I did this. No, I didn't. Lambdas aren't. Well, it's kind of important. Not really, though. Lambda captures didn't do that. And that was presumably to bring in variables in the same scope into this lambda scope. Because it's like a nested function. So we have to somehow pass info into it. So. Syntax for lambdas. So we can have an empty capture clause. And it also has no name. Oh, I guess we would do auto something this. Define the function right where we use it. Well, if we were doing it that way, then that wouldn't make any sense. But if we defined it and used it later, no capture clause, and auto. The auto return type, so it'll use the boolean returned here, not equals. Nah, lambda's not the right answer for ours. Lambda's too crazy. Just makes it even more complex. Like, okay, while we're not this, or this, or this, or this. Okay, or rather we are not this, and not this, and not this, and not this. Cool, that's fine. Lambda's not needed here. It's not something that we're calling a bunch of times in a loop, but we only want to define it one time in a tiny little scope. We don't need that. Yeah, we don't need this. Well, you know, fuck it. Let's just do it just because. Let's just do it just because. Truth. So this object, basically this like function reference kind of lambda, is initialized with an empty capture clause and then a parameter, and then parameters. So we'll just say auto is valid, initialized like this. Empty capture clause. Takes. Oh. So can I just put gets a turn choice? Lambda to validate it. Capture user turn choice, I think. And then it takes nothing. And then return true. What if I just do that? Are we cool? We're not cool yet. Uh oh. Is it not return? It's not return. Wait. Hold. Okay, isn't it? Can't we do the trailing syntax type to just say bool? Oh, well, I guess it's not. Auto stores the whole thing. The return type just happens to be bool. I have to remove. If I remove that, that's happier. Excuse me. Oh, it needs its own body here. Because that was returning from, we're not even in a function, so, wait, yes we are. But that doesn't match the type, return true. Ah, expected that because we're introducing a lambda body here. Gotcha, okay, that makes sense. Oops. Why are these? Who knows? Okay, why the fuck are these? So can I do that and do that? Nope, I can't. Great. So I'll just tab them up. And so what are we returning? We're using user turn choice. Or we could just pass it in. But is that creating a local? We'll just capture it, I think. That's fine. And we will return whether user turn choice is not equal to attack. Or, well, let's see. Is valid means that it is this, or it is, so we'll say user turn choice is attack, or user turn choice is attack, or user turn choice is flee, run, or user turn choice is this. And this is a string instead of a character. And we return that. And now we say we do this while not is valid user turn choice. And instead we're going to pass in character. What do we do? Character. What do we even call it? The thing we're looking at. The thing we're comparing. Turn choice. Sure. Okay. And now we're passing it in. So, oh, there's the body. And then there's the actual object. Syntax seems okay. I think I understand Lambda syntax a little now. Sick. And so, what do? We do, and then actually get player's turn choice. Object to store user's turn choice until valid. While not valid, user turn choice. Cool. Now let's try. See if it works. Attack. Flee. Flee. Okay. So let's see. Everything good. Chose to attack. 1. Now we're at 6 health. Failed to flee. Now we're at 2 health. Fleed again. Success. Attack the slime. Attack an Arcodite. GG's. Okay, it works. Cool. Excuse me. Okie doke. And so, what else? In the game logic, we're returning whether the monster is dead. If the player is dead, then we return this. Yep. And then here we actually handle the result. Handle encounter result. Oh, but if the monster wins, then the player's dead. So shouldn't this be player died? I'm gonna do player died. There's player win. There's player won. There's player died, and there's player fled. So in-game logic, we have player died, and now this is player won. So there's player died. There's player died. There's player won. Okay. Player won. There's player fled. There's player died. And if the player died, then we don't need to recheck this. However, we do need to check the level. And we can return 0 because the game's over. Death. Game over. Can I space these out so that they look a little better? Handle the encounter result. This is game over. The player died. And this is the victory, and this is just an if after checking the result. So we check the result. And after each monster, each encounter finishes, we check to see, do we need to progress the player? Or progress the player? We'll just say progress the player. The level up and add the gold. The player fled, which means we don't need to do anything. We just continue on. If the player died, we need to end the entire game because the player died. And then we need to check. Oh, we could. Well, if the player fled, then we don't need to check this each time. Don't we only need to check this if the player won? Does that make this switch case crazy? I don't know. Oops. So what if we do this? Check if victory. Or do we handle the stuff and then go? So we do it here. That way, if the case is fled, we don't have to execute this at all. We don't have to run this check. We don't have to look at the level because we don't need to. Go to the next encounter because you fled. Can't win the game by fleeing. Okay, now let's check it. Ethan, run. 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 Attack. Run. Holy shit, this guy can run. This guy can run! Oh my god. Run. Fuck. Run. Fuck. 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 Five failures. 2 to the 5th. Yikes. Oof. I got lucky and then unlucky. Basically, the game loop is there's a monster, introduce it, get the result, and handle the result. End the game if player won or lost. Or if player won or lost, end game. continue game loop or end it if player won or lost. Okay. Seems good to me. What's actually in the body? Is it a nasty switch? I think it's better to put this in the case because we only want to check if victorious. Only check if one game when leveling up. Can't win game by fleeing. And then player died result means player health is less than or equal to 0, just for clarification. Then if the player fled, that's it. Player successfully fled. Okay, seems fine to me. I like it. Okay. Trimmed up. Alright, next thing. Go to Tom. I got extra functions. I guess. I mean, I just do encounter. Like monster combat. And we put in the attacker and the victim. I don't need a separate function for each one, because this way we can have monsters attacking each other too, instead of having to have, oh, only a player can attack a monster. I disagree with the framing that we need a separate function for monsters and players attacking. Attacking a monster shouldn't level you up, because attacking the monster shouldn't return whether the monster died. The game should determine whether the monster died. I disagree with this. Okay. Creator Tom didn't sharpen his sword enough to defeat the mighty dragon. Oh shit, extra potions, huh? There's extra health. Oh, there are 3 different potions, okay. Good, good, bad. Oh, so this is always... So what, it'll say you found a large potion? Gotcha. Wait. Gotcha. Oh, so it always says a mythical potion? Are you sure, buddy? And then you could have a random-ish color or something like that, or some of them have these colors, some of them have those. And then there's a chance. Or, well, yeah, you're like, okay, it's green, it could be this or it could be this. But if it's red, it's always good, something like that. Okay. And so this is only if you win the fight. And so only, do we handle that in the combat? I don't think so. We already handle in main the leveling up. So in the victory, a 30% chance to find the potion. So, we do player find potion. Do I add another function to the player? Could. And what would the function handle? The function would handle the player finding the potion and getting input until he says yes or no. and only if it's a 30% chance success does it execute the function body. So we could say I think we do that. We do random chance to find potion. So if, we'll just say true for now, then player find potion. And for now, I'll just make this a null statement, or a null if statement, so it doesn't do anything. Uh-oh. Oh, that's fine, whatever. And so, thank you, compiler. Okay. Random chance. Find the potion. So we'll say we'll get a random number from this to this, and say if it's that works. If and we already have random numbers because it's included in monster, because monsters has a static member that creates a random monster, and we call that here when we're creating random monster. Okay, so we'll say if random nums get random num from we'll just say 1 to 10. 1 to 10 is less than or equal to 3. So that means if it's 1, 2, or 3, boom, 30% chance. Excuse me. We could have game logic or player constants or something. What do we have here? Do we have anything else? We have game logic. Do we have constants for anything specific? I guess not. Do we want that in the player? Probably not. Why not just create another header file and just have like game constants? Game constants. If not defined, game constants h, define game constants h, and if namespace game constants, and then concentration int potion find chance. Oops. 3. So we could say random number from, yeah, it's fine. 3. 30%. Sure. Chance to find potion. Okie doke. Is less than. We'll include this real quick. Game constants. Include game constants. Oops. .h. Or we could say find chance. Potion find roll. I think it makes more sense for it to be less than or equal to 3 instead of greater than or equal to 70. Potion find roll. We'll do that. Sure. Constants, potion find roll. Okay. From 1 and 10. Roll d10. For 10% increments. Okay, it's no longer a completely magic number. We could put them here too. Like potion roll min, potion roll max. Fine. Potion roll minimum 1. Potion roll max 10. potion find roll, and potion find roll. Oops. Okay. Ten-sided die. Minimum number on a die. Okay. And we could say using it. I don't know how that works actually. So if what if we say using game constant? Using namespace game constants. How far does this get used? Let's find out. Potion. Now what about potion? Ooh, it does only span. That is nice. Oh wait, hold. Yeah, potion. We're still outside the roll, or we're still outside the switch statement, so good. I can actually use that here. That is good to know. So we'll use game constants, and we'll do potion find roll, and we'll do potion roll minimum, potion roll max, and then we'll do potion roll find. And then I'll change this to be potion roll find. Okay, and so say if random roll to find potion succeeds, or rather find random potion if random roll to find any potions succeeds. And that means yeah, that way we don't have to use game constants 3 times in this one line. If the roll min and the roll max, the random number is less than or equal to the find. Cool. And so now we can implement this one. Write out find potion. Would find potion. Void player find potion. Next to implement. Sure. I'm going to put an assert here so I can implement this tomorrow. Player find potion. Cool. Why is this red? Nobody knows. Okay. Ethan, orc appears, run again, run again, run again, attack. Sure, attack. Barely alive, I think we're 1 tap, run, and failed. Good. Okay, game still works. How long have we been doing? Sure, fuck it, I'll continue, I'll do this. Nah, I won't, I don't have time. Okay, so this is in player H. No, it's CPP. This gets compiled, so we'll do next implement random roll to determine switch potion. Put potions somewhere. Game logic perhaps. And then or other.h perhaps. And then prompt player. Then you found a potion. Oops. And then get player's choice. Yes, no. Until valid. Yes, no. Character. We'll say choice character until valid. Yes or no. Then use or ignore potion and print info. And then static assert, not static cast, static assert false. Hold. Boom. And so now if we're here, we compile, we fail. Q. Nice. I can continue tomorrow. Migration succeeded.